Woman struck and killed at a campground. Her daughter facing several charges, including DWI.
To summarize it, it was very shocking and chaotic. It was something you would not expect.
Good evening, I'm Don Alhard. Today, police say 26-year-old Lindsay Knabb was drunk when she struck her mother with an SUV at a campground in Wolcott early Sunday morning. 13 Web's Chase Howell spoke to the owner of that campground to learn more about what happened. Chase?
Don, the owner tells me the family was very kind, and he even stopped by their campsite to hang out for a little bit Saturday night. But little did he know, a few hours later, he'd get a shocking phone call.
I get a report of a female that was hit by a car, stating she is not responding, but she is breathing. EMS needs to step it up.
A family camping trip turned deadly early Sunday morning.
They were here for a day and a half, and I had probably 5 or 6 conversations with them, and there wasn't anything that would have led to anything to that magnitude. It was just, it's a tragedy.
It was here at a campground in Wolcott where New York State Police say 26-year-old Lindsay Knabb allegedly ran over her mother, 57-year-old Annette Knabb, with an SUV around 1 a.m.
But I know there was argument going on because some of the neighboring campers heard it. They were becoming concerned, and as they were starting to come out, it already unfolded.
Campers and emergency services jumping into action to try and save Annette's life, but they weren't successful.
Everyone was trying, from the chest compressions, and they didn't no one let up for an hour at least. And then they finally, they put her in the ambulance, and they were still doing it.
Lindsay has been charged with second-degree manslaughter, first-degree vehicular manslaughter, and felony DWI. Later believes the whole thing was a complete accident.
The conversations I had, there was nothing that would have led me to believe that there was anything vicious in these people. I mean, they just weren't that type of people.
According to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, Lindsay has since been released from custody.
New calls tonight to address safety concerns at the University of Rochester. The university's peace officers want to be armed across campus. As 13 Web's Carla Rogner reports, this comes as they express concern about unarmed officers dealing with increasingly dangerous encounters. Carla, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Matt. The peace officers tried for this back in 2019, but the university said no. Right now, only peace officers stationed at the medical campus can have guns. But peace officers want to be armed throughout the rest of its campuses to protect the community and themselves.
We have to do everything we can to try to protect ourselves and everybody. So.
Eric Bonacci says things have changed since he started as an unarmed officer at the University of Rochester 8 years ago.
When I first started, it was, I'll go to anything, I feel comfortable. And now it seems that a lot of the individuals that we're coming across have warrants for their arrests from all different jurisdictions in New York State. They're parolees, they're ex-convicts.
He says unarmed officers are sometimes put in unsafe situations, like when he says a suspect pulled a knife on him and he had to wait for backup.
Not that we're getting knives pulled on us every day, but we are arresting individuals and stepping out with individuals who have weapons on them, and we've confiscate ice picks, screwdrivers, knives. We had an incident at University Park just a month ago where we caught an individual who had a Sig Sauer BB gun, all black, looked just like a real gun. And he had it on him right in his waistband. And even though it's fake, to anybody who pulls out an all black handgun, it looks real until you know it's not real.
He has shared all of this in a letter and meetings with university leaders. The university shared a statement which says in part, university leaders have heard our officers' concerns, and we want to ensure the entire university community that we are actively working on multiple fronts to develop a forward-thinking, effective, inclusive, fair, and respectful approach to campus security across all our campuses. The U of R did not elaborate on whether it would consider approving arming all peace officers. Bonacci says his union will continue to meet with university leadership to push for arming more officers. If this were to be approved, the unarmed peace officers would have to go through a firearms training.
All right, Marty, thank you. Erie County is facing a lawsuit after an altercation between officers and an inmate at the Erie County Correctional Facility.
The video appears to show corrections officers assaulting a man in custody, kicking him in the face.
And as Sean Mickey reports, his family is seeking millions in damages.
Check it out anyways.
Deputies rush to an altercation with an inmate. Nathaniel Oyoyo is subdued by officers after they say he refused to be fingerprinted and became combative. But it's what happens next that could cost the county.
Keep your mouth shut. You kicked me in my mouth when I was on the floor. Right?
The inmate can be seen with blood on his face and is brought to a medical evaluation. According to the Erie County Sheriff's Office own internal report, Officer Daniel Powarchek claims he kicked the inmate in the shoulder after being spit at, although at least one other deputy initially admitted he saw a boot come into contact with Oyoyo's face, a statement he later retracted. Internal investigators wrote the video suggests the officer's foot does in fact contact Oyoyo's head. But that internal investigation by the Sheriff's Office found Powarchek, who's received discipline on 3 earlier occasions, including an incident where he allegedly lied in a disciplinary report, was justified in his use of force. He remains on the job making over $70,000 a year. According to the report, Oyoyo, then 19 years old, has mental health problems. He claims to have suffered hearing damage in the incident. He's now serving his sentence for burglary at Washington Correctional Facility.
My son is 19 years old. You know, there was no reason for all that physical force on my son. Not at all.
His mother adamant that the public see the video.
They did not protect, they didn't serve, they didn't do nothing but beat him. They beat him.
I'm Sean Mickey.
Now Oyoyo is suing Erie County and is seeking over $5 million. In a statement, Erie County says it is county policy to not comment on pending litigation.